Well, welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Sundberg and I will be your host today. This is the first episode of This Old Pew. This will be a devotional effort from a group of us here at Trinity St. James United Methodist. I will be joined over time by Don Taylor, Chris Swizer, and Chuck Schmidt, and hopefully even some more other people. But we're at least the four that are starting this out. In this time of COVID retreat, any kind of online presence to bring the word and bring some thought and connection we feel could be helpful. So we offer this up. Today, I want to share with you, or maybe even introduce you to a writer that I've been following for several years now. His name is Jeremy Smith. He is a pastor in Seattle, Washington now, although he was a youth pastor in Oklahoma when I first discovered him. He is the author of a blog called Hacking Christianity and a noted voice in the Methodist Church in the 21st century. Today I'd like to talk about an entry he made in 2016 on the Wesleyan Covenant Prayer. Now let's hear what he has to say. In the United Methodist churches, the first worship service of a new year often includes a Wesleyan Covenant renewal service. This service reaffirms the covenant between the Christian worshipers and God and names the ways how we affirm and deny that relationship. One part of the service is reciting the covenant prayer attributed to Wesley, but the original has been lost. While writing the worship service for my church in the Nun Zone, it struck me that the covenant prayer's pre-Christian language makes some theological claims that I find problematic from my post-Christian context. And he quotes, "It is clearly commendable to begin the year with renewed commitment and dedication, regardless of what the future may have in store, but the Methodist liturgy goes much further. Taken at face value in traditional form, it strongly implies that our misfortunes may arise at the divine behest." And he quotes directly from the covenant prayer, "Put me to what thou wilt, put me to suffering." And then he interjects, "Would we suggest that to a friend in distress or to someone entrusted to us for counseling? I hope not. Rather, our conviction is that God is our comforter in time of trouble rather than the author of life's woes." Indeed, we may legitimately ask whether the essential concept of covenant as a mutually binding contract, quote, "now you are mine and I am yours," has been inappropriate from the very outset as a symbol of divine grace. By definition, covenant goes beyond simple promise, conferring rights on an injured party in the breach. It stems from our fickle human nature, demanding guarantees and imposing conditions. Witness contemporary covenant practice, legal and commercial. While I am a Wesleyan Christian and embrace our multiple covenants, I push back against the determinism aspects of Wesley's theology. To that topic, the whole prayer smacks a bit of everything that happens is God's will, and we should give ourselves over to it. As a colleague wrote to me on this topic, quote, "I don't think God gives people cancer or puts people in car accidents or makes them not get on the plane that eventually crashes. And the people are hearing this from almost every other, quote, Christian, unquote, resource. Wesleyans walk a tightrope between I have no agency and God is just an accessory in my totally independent life. I wonder if the ancient language could be revised and the theology tweaked to better bring Wesleyanism again to a generation and context that needs a robust counter to purpose-driven, best life now, life way theology. Wesley's Covenant Prayer revised. To address these concerns for my congregation and for post-Christian or non-Christian newcomers, this is my revision of the short version of Wesley's Covenant Prayer. It's more in the spirit of the Message translation of the Bible. It's a paraphrase in common language, not a word-for-word replacement. Here it is. I am not my own self-made, self-reliant human being. In truth, O God, I am yours. Make me into what you will. Make me a neighbor with those whom you will. Guide me on the easy path for you. Guide me on the rocky road for you. Whether I am to step up for you or step aside for you. Whether I am to be lifted high for you or brought low for you. Whether I become full or empty, with all things or with nothing. I give all that I have and all that I am for you. So be it. And may I always remember that you, O God, and I belong to each other. Amen. All right. Well, this is intended to give you an opportunity to think and explore a little bit. Anytime you start to revise the language of the church, it can be a little difficult. It can be sometimes rattling. Hopefully that's not my intention, but rather to help us think a little bit about what we truly believe and how we truly worship God. So feel free to put comments in here if you wish, and let us know what you think. I thank you for joining us, and until next time, may God's peace be with you.